Massachusetts will soon adopt federal requirements on photo IDs, especially for air travel. To tell us about the Real ID program is the Massachusetts Registrar of Motor Vehicles, Erin Deveney. Thank you very much for being with us, Erin.
Thanks so much for having me.
Explain this. This is a federal program. This is not something that originated in Massachusetts. So explain, why are we doing this?
In 2005, in the wake of the 9/11 Commission report, the federal government passed the Real ID Act, and it sets minimum standards for states that issue driver's licenses and ID cards to meet if you want those credentials to be recognized as a form of federal identification to board commercial, domestic aircraft, and also to access federal buildings as of October of 2020.
Well, what about people who have a Massachusetts license for driving already, and they just want to drive cars legally in Massachusetts? Do they have to get one of these?
That's the great thing about Massachusetts. We'll be giving our customers a choice. You can choose to get the federal Real ID driver's license, but we'll also offer a Massachusetts standard driver's license. It'll let you drive. It'll still be considered a form of ID. It just won't let you get into the federal facilities or to board an aircraft. But if you have a passport, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, explain a little bit more about where a Real ID is going to be required. Talk about that.
So in the transportation field, if you wanted to get into the Volpe building in Cambridge, you would need a Real ID credential. It also is most common for people who want to travel domestically. If you want to get on a plane to travel for the holidays over at Logan Airport. But it's important for our customers to understand that if they're not going to have that need, then they can continue to drive in their current license, and then they can continue to renew even online to get the Massachusetts standard driver's license. Both cards are going to be equally secure from a physical card standard.
Now, I know you mentioned one federal facility, but let's say you just want to visit the local Social Security office, or if you want to go to the Kennedy building downtown. Do you need Real ID for that?
Yes, any federal building that requires a form of government-issued federal identification as of October of 2020 will look for a Real ID card. But again, if you don't go into those buildings and if you're not going to be flying, then your Massachusetts standard driver's license will continue to be a valid form of identification for other purposes. It won't completely invalidate that card.
This has been in the news, and we're talking about Real ID with the Massachusetts Registrar of Motor Vehicles, Erin Deveney. Erin, what about the requirements for getting one of these IDs, apart from a driver's test, let's say? I mean, is there anything different?
Well, it's important for our customers to know is that as of March 26th of 2018, we're going to be implementing Real ID and changes in state law that took place in 2016. And so all of our customers, regardless of the card you choose to get, will have to prove that they're either a U.S. citizen or that they're here in accordance with federal immigration laws. So that's, I think, the biggest change. And we're trying to educate our customers so they can be prepared, choose the card that they want, and be successful to complete their transaction.
Of course, no, another option for people, maybe in some cases, they can gain entry or get on a flight if they show their passport, right?
Passports, military IDs, global entry cards, all of those credentials will be valid for Real ID purposes. So if you have one of those credentials already, we're going to give you the option to go online, continue to get and hold a Massachusetts standard driver's license or ID card, and you wouldn't even have to worry about making that choice.
On the other hand, is there any advice here? You know, some people may say, yes, I do have a passport, but you know, what if I lose one kind of ID? I mean, isn't it nice to have a backup like a Real ID?
Well, I think the most important thing for our customers to know is that they have time to choose. The federal requirements don't take effect until October of 2020. And we have a website at mass.gov/Real ID that'll help customers walk through the common questions and decide which credential is best for them.
One more. Does it cost any more than what we've been used to?
Absolutely not. We're not changing any fees, and we're going to continue to give as many customers the option to get the credential they need online so that they can avoid a trip to the service center if at all possible.
And I do think, because I know you said it once, but I think it is important, those deadlines that people have to keep in mind about when they have to start using this if they need it?
October of 2020 is when the federal government will look to see what type of card each individual has. So people can plan their business and have plenty of time to meet that deadline in October of 2020.
And once again, the website?
The website is www.mass.gov/Real ID.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Erin Deveney, the Registrar of Motor Vehicles from Massachusetts. We'll have more news in just a moment.